There we are. Ah, can you hear me? Is everyone able to hear me? Let's see if this is working now. Oh, all right. Well, I'm configuring a new setup, as the humans would call it. I'm not sure if this is working properly or not. And, well, it seems that it is working because immediately I start getting all these youngsters calling me butt-nose, kitty, grump, blah, 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 butt-nose, kitty. Anything to do with felines is now officially banned. Henceforth, from this moment, I declare it by the Royal Celestial Decree of whoever the hell issues those up there. I don't remember his name. He's probably long gone by now, but I know someone up there who can issue a royal decree that says you are not allowed to call me anything related to felines or kitties or cats or anything of that subject matter whatsoever. So I shall say it now and make it official. No cats, no kitties, no purrs, no mews, no meows, no scritching, no purring, no treating me as a feline or any sort of long behavior as feline behavior whatsoever. Well, that is at least one way I can start off the show and be somewhat entertaining, but I cannot believe I have to resort to instigating this entire feline behavior thing, which I still have no idea why it still sticks. I blame, of course, none other than Mr. Boozy Badger, of course, the fandom's favorite barrister, who apparently somehow had, well, he had one of his youngest badgers looking at his phone, and the youngest badger saw a picture of me and went, "Kitty!" And, well, apparently that's how I became a kitty. But I am not a kitty. Hear it now, all of you young ones out there, you heard it here first. I am not a kitty whatsoever. I am a dignified celestial lord. I am the god of the skies, as I like to label myself, and that is the label that they would give me if I had my own Hollywood movie. But I have yet to discuss those contracts with those producers. So, with that being said, greetings one and all to this edition of the Grumpystream. Of course, I am none other than your host, Tien Long, the aforementioned god of the skies, royal celestial dragon, definitely not a kitty in any way whatsoever. If I was a cat, I would be, playing with the stream right now. I would be clawing at the camera. I'd be, taking a string, perhaps, well, there's a string right here. I'd be taking, this piece of string, and I'd be like, oh, look, yes, string. Yes, look at this string. Perhaps that's why they put these strings on sake bottles, so that they can really weed out who are the kitties and who are not. But this Dasai 23 string is most definitely not going to work on me. I am aware of its tricks to disgrace the celestial dragon's reputation. So I shall throw this piece of yarn away because it is not relevant to my interests whatsoever, because I am not a kitty. Huh. But what was I saying earlier? Yes. Is everything looking okay? Can you see the picture? Is it getting wonky? Do you see me going side to side? I assure you I am sitting perfectly straight. If it seems that I am moving from side to side, you may have had one too many drinks already. I know some of you have already started several hours ago, and I'm watching you. You are the ones that are, well, shall they say, the party animals. I am no party animal. I'm far too old for that sort of thing. But, as I was saying, if you can all hear me, if you can all see me correctly, the reason why I am asking is because I am actually, again, running a new setup. I may have mentioned that when I first turned on the stream, but this time around, I have actually acquired myself a new computing machine. The reason being is that the previous one that I was using was a little bit cumbersome, and frankly, it was a pain in the rear end, which I shall not show, for me to utilize it. But thanks to the continued generosity of all of my patrons, I was able to send my human pet out and acquire a new computing machine, which is vastly more efficient. And, well, it is running on its first real test, where I am doing my stream off of this computing machine, and we shall see if it comes through with flying colors. So, to all of my patrons, first and foremost, I do thank you very, very humbly. So you allow a celestial dragon to continue yelling at you for no reason whatsoever. Yes, this is what you pay for. You pay for me to continue yelling at you with all the beep boops and the computers and the boop beeps and all that. But I am very grateful for your generosity because now I don't have to break my back every time I lug that cumbersome computing machine down to my lair and, well, perform these sort of raucous, wine-sodden acts of entertainment for you every single month. To the rest of you, however, it is good to see you as well, and I hope you do enjoy this month's stream. For those of you that do not know what this stream is about, if you are here for the very first time, well, this is it. You watch me, I yell a lot. I yell, I ramble, I vent, I scream, I do all sorts of very loud things until I fall over drunk or until you get sick and tired of me. And usually I have a bit of libation to help that along, because we all know that, well, libations help to settle the moods a little bit and help us wind down the evening, or for some of us, wind up the evening. And this evening's libation comes from a lovely, lovely supporter of both Uncle Kage and myself. This lovely lady comes every year to Detroit to essentially schmooze us with the boozes. So she schmoozes us with booze, which is something I shall not complain about whatsoever. In particular, she has graced me with a rather large, firm bottle of, what is this again? Oh yes, the Shoune Junmai Dai Ginjo. A Shoune, which is the label of the bottle. Junmai Dai Ginjo. It is, again, rather large and firm, and oh, I would so like to put this in. As I was saying, this was a gift by none other than Furry Trailer, or from none other, I shall say. So, Furry Trainer, if you are out there on the stream watching somewhere, or if you're out there doing better things, my dear, thank you very kindly for your gift, and I shall be enjoying this tonight. So I have this lovely Daiginjo sake, and well, there's no use for me to talk about it. Some of you may remember from last month I had this whole, 9-point inspection of the Canadian sake. Well, that was because it was Canadian sake. You see, for those of you that weren't here, I had discovered last month that there was such a thing as Canadian sake. Like, it was made in Canada, it had it's a lumberjack uniform. It said sorry every third word in its sentences, and it generally looked nice. So I had tried it last time, and I did this whole 9-point inspection, saying, "Oh yes, look at the labeling, and look at the kanji characters, and look at the bottling date." I'm not bothering to do that with this one. You know why? Because this one I trust. It says Junmai Dai Ginjo, and I've never ever had any bad experiences with Junmai Dai Ginjo sake. No one out there would know about any. Perhaps I might recall one later down the stream. You see what I did there? Downstream? Because we're streaming. You kids have no sense of humor. Well, I shall break this open into of course, my Tien Long wine glass with my fabulously pink straw. Once again, my Tien Long wine glass, which was custom laser carved by some lovely lady. That's what I'll say. Some lovely lady. I shall open that up first. Come on, you come on. There we are. Let me put the straw in my mouth. I don't want to get too carried away now, but of course it is a Saturday evening, and it is, well, I was going to say it was lovely weather outside, but I am still stuck in the frozen north of Narnia. I don't call this Canada anymore because it feels more like Narnia. But regardless, to all of this fabulously pink straw went down the wrong hole. To all of you out there that are joining me this evening, I say Ganbe to all of you. for joining an old dragon, of course, on a Saturday evening such as this. Drink up, my friends. It is to be enjoyed. Uh, uh, Furry trainer, my dear, did I thank you properly at Motor City FurCon? This is quite exquisite. Thank you kindly. But rest assured, because I am having sake this evening, I will not be touching the entire box of Dr. Lawson Riesling that I have waiting for you, Uncle Kage, if you're out there. What happened was at Motor City FurCon, this is such, I must preface this by saying, this is only a problem that you get if you are at a FurCon, if you are flying to a FurCon, and if you are flying to a FurCon where people like to give you gifts of wine. Uncle Kage, this past Motor City FurCon, was doing all three. He was flying in from Raleigh, North Carolina, which is his home region now, and well, he had arrived at the convention, and he brings along a yellow storm case, a very particular case that he has custom made to carry all of his wine should he receive any gifts, which he does, of course, except, well, this is the first world Uncle Kage problem of I get too much wine. For you see, he had filled up his entire case already by Sunday of Motor City FurCon, and he was just about ready to leave when suddenly he discovered that there was this entire box of Dr. Lawson waiting for him. Dr. Lawson, of course, being a German Riesling, a very fine German Riesling at that, from the Mosel Valley. And, well, it's an entire box, 12 bottles, an entire box of fresh Dr. Lawson just waiting for him to, caress it, to cradle it, to just do something with it that I cannot say on camera until after 8. But that was his prize from Motor City, and, well, he could not bring it back home with him because travel restrictions do not let you, well, they do not let him bring back that much wine. I guess they figured it out after all these years. But he could leave the wine to one of his most trusted associates to safeguard until the next time he's able to take it back. And so I happened to return from Detroit with an additional box of wine. All those bottles just waiting there in my cellar, just glistening in the light whenever I open that cellar door. It's like you find that secret hidden treasure, after the final boss. If the final boss was Kage, that was. And it was just sitting there every day. I open my cellar doors, and I'm always like, I have to withhold that craving for that wine because, well, I did make a promise, and I promised that I would not touch a bottle unless, of course, I was allowed to. Anyhow, that is part of the haul that I had from Motor City FurCon, and of course I had many other gifts that I had received. So if you are watching the stream right now and I had made your acquaintance at Motor City and perhaps even received something, I do thank you for all of your generosity. Of course, you make an old dragon feel less old. And by that I mean when I drink, I feel less old, which is why I drink. One of the many reasons why. But in other news, in terms of why this stream is held in Narnia, or so it is because, well, up here in the Great White North, we seem to have a never-ending winter upon us. Those of you that are up here anywhere in this region would know exactly what I am saying. Whereas some of you down in the south are enjoying a nice toasty summer-like weather already down there, up here we are receiving endless amounts of snow and ice, and it constantly looks like we are in Narnia. Of course, Narnia with the, endless snow-covered forests and, several feet deep snow, and, you've got the centaurs coming out from the middle of nowhere inviting you over for tea, and then, that's when Rule 34 happens. But, well, apparently that is what I have yet to deal with, and I made a very, very wrong choice to retire down here in Narnia. I thought the real estate was cheaper down here compared to up above, which it was, but I guess I know why now the real estate was much cheaper for a celestial dragon. So I shall have to deal with it as best as I can, which basically is what I do every single day. Stay in my den, crack open a cold bottle, and enjoy with all of you, of course. Well, what are all the young ones saying so far? Let us see what they are saying. Yoshikos Raptoridus would say that would leave him with no wine at all. Well, I mean, I did have to take the excess wine away from Uncle Kage, if that's who you're referring to. He went back home from Motor City with, I believe it was a good haul of 9 bottles of Riesling, high quality Riesling at that. You know, something that you cannot turn your nose up against, but at the same time, I have 12, so technically, with the 12 bottles of Riesling that I'm holding for him, plus the other bottles that were given to a celestial dragon, I guess I won. Oh, and did I forget to mention that there was another lovely couple who had graced both myself and Uncle Kage that convention with not one, but 2 large bottles, very large bottles of Desai 23, and we were absolutely enthralled by their generosity. Well, I don't know if we were so much enthralled as we were, maybe inebriated, but we can leave that for Motor City. What happens at Motor City stays at Motor City. Anyone that goes to Motor City knows that. And if you did not go to Motor City, then I will say you missed out on one heck of a good time. Usually I am not one to try to, push or promote any particular event, but Motor City is an absolutely wonderful place. It is an event that you can go to and you don't have to worry about doing everything and, seeing everyone. Well, for 2 reasons. Number one, all you need to do is socialize there. You go there to simply socialize and have a good time with the people around you. And number two is that the convention hotel is so small that you are going to run into everyone. So unlike larger conventions where you have to run in circles and go through labyrinths to find the friends that you are seeking, at Motor City, you'll just find them if you stand 5 minutes in the lobby and they'll run by you. I find that to be quite convenient for an old dragon like myself because I'm old. I don't like walking. I don't like having to walk marathons here and there and all over the place and suddenly walk 500 miles, and I will not walk 500 more because I don't want to see you. You come to me. That's how it works. Yes, I am very well aware that I just made a reference to the Proclaimers song. Yes, I will not walk 500 miles to see you. You've heard it here first. I will not walk 500. I will walk 300 maximum. I don't know, 300 miles for a celestial dragon of my size. I am not sure whether that was whether that was the computing machine or if that was the internet, but I hope I am back online. Hello, can you see me? I did notice that went offline for just a moment there. Hello, can you see me? Am I back online now? Hello, hello, hello. Old man, old dragon knocking on the door. Knock, 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 knock. Okay, they can see me. Perfect, perfect. I was worried for a moment there. I thought my stream only lasted 10 minutes, in which case, well, my audience would not feel that it's worth their while. But, as I was saying, I shall only walk 300 miles maximum, and that's on a good day. On a bad day, I'll probably walk 30 miles maximum. But, as I was saying, let me see. And my big brother says it was the Russians. They are censoring FurryCon secrets. Well, I mean, I would not blame them for doing so. I mean, you can essentially blame everything on the Russians these days. Do you all remember when the previous president of the United States was still, well, President of the United States? Everyone literally blamed everything on him, or rather, they ironically thanked him for everything. For example, oh, today it snowed instead of sunshine, It's snowing instead of, raining sun. Raining sun. Is that the thing? Raining sun? I shall have to write that down of things I must do to the weather next time around. Yes, it is snowing today instead of raining sun. I shall stick with that. And then they would write hashtag thanks Obama or something like that. Or, oh, today I got called a cat. Hashtag thanks Obama. Hmm. Perhaps I shall do that. I shall have to tell Obama. I shall have to tell Mr. Obama that I have been called a kitty thanks to his insolence. So, yes, in that case, thanks, Obama. But as I was saying, now these days it can be associated with the Russians now. So if I were to be called a kitty online, then it would be the fault of the Russians. So thank you, Russia, for making me called a kitty now. Probably the whole butt nose thing that you youngsters are always yapping on about, that's probably the Russians' fault as well. Ah. All right, let us see. Gumi Bjorn says you're back, but you need a better Asian Thai fix your computer. Oh, to fix my computer. Well, I don't know where I can find a better Asian. They're all made in China, okay? There's no better Asian. Let me see. Mike says they still do because they can't come up with anything witty now. Well, these days there's nothing too much. Okay, here's the thing, is that you can either blame it on Mr. Obama, you can blame it on the current president, you can blame it on the Russians, but at some point all of it gets old and boring. That's all I can really say about it. I mean, you can pick and choose whichever one you want. You can sort of, take a draw from, a raffle and say, oh, who shall I blame today? I shall blame Tien Long today for making my coffee taste bad. Yes, thanks, Tien Long. Hashtag thanks, Tien Long. Please don't make that an actual hashtag. It was not my fault your coffee tasted bad. It was Starbucks. Yes, I said it. And Real Lucas says, are you going to Anthrocon this year? I shall be at Anthrocon, Real Luca. I am there every single year that I can be. Mainly because if I were not there, there's a certain grumpy old man in a lab coat who would be very angry at me and would probably try to take all the wine meant for me at Anthrocon. And let me see. Tony Ringtail says, kitty, kitty, kitty. And I say to you, Tony Ringtail, die, die, die. Yes, anyone that calls me kitty will get a fresh, organic, 100% homegrown serving of dye, first-class mail express delivered to them. And Deja says, so does that make Boozy Russian? I don't know if that makes him Russian, but, well, I do know he ain't Russian anywhere anytime soon. I'm sorry, Boozy, if you're watching this after the fact, and furthermore, well, don't sue me, please. You see what I did there? He ain't Russian anywhere, anytime, because he's got a bad leg, and you kids have no fun in you. And Bruzo Dragonia says, yeah, you can blame it on North Korea. Okay, well, let's stop with the blame game these days, young ones. It is not polite to be blaming North Korea or the Russians or the President of the United States or Tien Long or Uncle Kage for all the world's problems. You should be blaming probably no one for that. It's always a complex mix of who's to blame, who is the one who is innocent, who is the one that is guilty. At the end of the day, well, sometimes life happens. Karma is who she is. And Mike says, hashtag die. Yes, if you put a hashtag die, you don't even need to put a hashtag die. You can just put a hashtag beside my face glowering at you. So you put a hashtag and then my face glowering at you, and that would be sufficient enough, I would think. And Volt Ashgore says, what are your thoughts on Chinese Kung Fu lion dance, Tien? I find it rather pleasing to watch. For one, they are honoring, of course, the celestial lion creature, or lion dog. Surprisingly enough, it's not actually a lion. It's more like a dog that is, that's got glitter all over it after a bad makeup day, and then someone stuck super glue on it and then made them run through a bunch of streamers and layers that you find. Well, maybe not layers, maybe, just streamers perhaps. And then suddenly it came out and it looked all glitzy and sparkly, and people said, that looks like a lion now. But I do find it rather entertaining whenever I do watch those little humans when they're doing their kicks and their jumps and the turning back and forth, and they're doing this and that, and they're head banging with the lion, because apparently lions like listening to rock music. They keep on head banging with it, and it looks absolutely ridiculous when they're headbanging like that. But for the most part, I do enjoy it. And people said, Frozen again. Oh, that's just Tony said, Frozen again. No, Tony, we do not need another Frozen. The first Frozen was already bad enough. People won't let it go. That's the only time I shall use that joke. I am not using it again. It was painful just having it come out of my maw. And let me see. Mike says, I sense a meme approaching. I don't know if I'm at that stage where I am to be memed. I think perhaps the whole die part was already a meme that I had started just between myself and my audience. But, well, these days, if you tell someone that they should die or should receive some die, I don't think it's a good look, unfortunately. What else is happening over here? And Journey the Dutch Angelic Dragon says, Hi, King. Hi, Tien. Oh, well, hello, Journey. You are an angelic dragon, I see, which is good. You are not an angelic dragon, because if you were an angle dragon, then you would be one of those, pointy muzzle types that has the pointy ears at the back, and then you have angles all over, and then you'll become a cheese wheel, or rather a slice of a cheese wheel. Did you know if you put approximately 8 to 10 of those angle dragons together in a circle, they form a cheese wheel? It's adorable. If you've never seen it happen before, or you've just never seen it, I highly suggest you search up on your social medias or on your furry art websites, Sergal cheese wheel, Sergal cheese wheel, or, well, anything with Sergal and then like pie or something that has slices that look like their heads. It's adorable to watch, especially when they come together. It's like watching, like, if you remember the old Transformers flicks where they combine together to make like a super mega transformer or something like that. It's like you take one of them, one angle dragon, and you put it there, and then you put another angle dragon there, and then they just become like a super angle dragon. Yes, I know that reference is rather obtuse for angle dragons. Anyhow. And Jackal the Circle says, Merp, 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 merp. Yes, exactly. Jackal would understand, because Jackal, as I understand, is an angle dragon. So angle dragons know that if they combine their forces together, then they become like a super angle dragon known as a cheese wheel. And Yoshiko Streptorida says, Alto, you misspelled acute uncle dragon. Acute uncle dragon? I'm not sure if I know what that is referring to, but uncle dragon? Are you perhaps referring to Uncle Kage being a dragon? Uncle dragon? That's an interesting thought. I have not considered that. Uncle Kage as a dragon. Uncle Long, maybe. Uncle Long. Yes, we would have, a celestial dragon, perhaps similar to myself, although he's far younger than I am, so he'd look better. But a celestial dragon with a wine glass in one hand, as such, and he's got his lab coat and his best tie on, his immaculate tie, and he's all like, yes, yes, look at me, I am Uncle Long. Yes, I am the longest of uncles. Yes, you wait long time for uncle. And Newstool says, I can't do it properly because I'm not a wolf, but Newstool has a very long Thank you very much, Newstool. That is very helpful for the stream. And Firin Fox says, get enough angle dragons, you just go full circle. Never go full circle. Everyone knows that. You never, ever go full circle. Once you go full circle, there is no unsticking the angle dragons. You'll just have this black hole of angle dragons circling through the convention space, and suddenly they go circle, 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 and then suddenly you've got a hurricane. And Kyoan says, saws for being late. Saws for being late? You brought saws? Well, if you brought saws, I don't know what you're late for, but you're in the wrong place. This is not a place for saws. And Tetris Wolf says, Grumpy Uncle Tien. Grumpy Uncle Tien. Well, Grumpy is sort of obvious, is it not? But Uncle Tien. I am not the uncle of this stream. In fact, I am not the uncle of any stream or anyone for that fact. I am far older than that associated age bracket. Well, Uncle Kage would be appropriate, but for myself, it would be more like Grandpa, unless, well, I hope you're not referring to some sort of, like, weird fantasy, like, transform fusion of Uncle Kage and myself. Uh, I'm going to have another drink before I continue that thought. Hold on, thank you very much. Cheers to you all, Kanbe. Mm, 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 mm. I was just thinking, it's like that whole thought of Uncle Tien, where it's like, you just do like a fusion between Uncle Kage and Tien, and it's like a hybrid mix. Yeah. No, thank you very much. I think I like it when we're, one person per personality and all that sort of thing. Ah, and let me see. The dragoon says, I'm a Mexican wolf. Hola, hola, dragoon. ¿Cómo estás? Uh, uh, I am Tien Long. That's all I can really say. Yes, hola. And let me see. Mike says Saws is the non-Canadian sorry. I didn't know that there was a non-Canadian sorry. I thought a non-Canadian sorry was just sorry, except it didn't come from a Canadian. I did not realize that sorry was exclusively for Canadians, is it now? I do hear sorry quite often when I'm in the States, but it's not quite as amusing as when you hear it in Canada, because in Canada it actually sparks a sorry off. I shall tell you a very quick story which happened actually just last night. My human pet had to take care of his mom noodles. Whenever he takes care of his mom noodles, I usually just go destroy a city or something. But while he was taking care of his mom noodles, they had gone out to an Indian restaurant, a very nice one that is in the town that he resides in. And during this Indian cuisine, they had ordered a dish that was a rather tad bit spicy, so much so that the Chinese expression would be pun for, which means spitting out flames. And that was what he was doing from his mouth, from his eyes, and his ears. And well, he had told the manager, who had then apparently went screaming into the back office, past the kitchen, past all the line cooks and the head chef, back into the office where the owner was, brought them out, and then they engaged in a furious sorry off. So my human pet was like, "Oh, I'm sorry for causing all this trouble," and the owner was like, "No, no, no, I'm more sorry for causing you the trouble," and my human pet was like, "No, I'm sorry because I am sorry," and then the owner was like, "No, no, no, I'm sorry because you are sorry." It was the most Canadian thing that he had experienced this year yet. Let me tell you, if you have not come to Canada and had yourself a proper sorry off, or like, a proper conflict where you must out sorry the other person in order to maintain your honor or dignity, you must come for that one experience. If there is nothing else you would come to Canada for, or Narnia for that matter, then it is for engaging in basically a fight for who is more sorry. I highly recommend you try it at least once. Don't make the effort to come and engage in a sorry off. You'll feel a lot sorry afterwards. And let us see what other youngsters are saying. Oh, my pink straw is in the way. There we are. Other youngsters are saying, Dynamite 21 says, what would happen if Jen were to meet up with a bunch of circles? Well, here's the thing is that I've only met circles one at a time. I've met, these renegade slices of cheese or slices of pie. Some of them identify as cheese, some of them as pie. You must not get it wrong. They get very touchy about that. But I've only met them in either ones or pairs, and that's not really quite enough to, see the whole, coming together, Transformer style, like beep boop, and then, it's like, yes, Circle bots transform, yes, and then the Circle bots come together, and it's like, they make their cheese wheel. I suspect that it will be quite an experience to see that happen in person for some of you. For me, the first time I'd seen it in person, I know I was all like, oh, look at the cheese wheel, look at that, it's a cheese wheel. But, well, I don't know what would happen if I were to, meet them as a cheese wheel. You see, I saw it from a distance, and I was afraid that if I got pulled in, they might mistake me for, like, the noodle that goes on top of the cheese wheel or something, and they would have thrown me on top, and I would have, like, ridden them like a ridden them. I would have ridden the cheese wheel. There's fan art of that's now about to appear. I know for a fact. Now that I've said that, someone's going to draw it. Please don't. And then Mike says, Canadian Infinite Loop, two Canadians apologizing to each other. Yes, exactly. That is basically the description of what happened between my human pet and this Indian restaurant owner who it was just adorable how long it went on. So much so that even the waitress afterwards was very apologetic about how long it took to apologize. Can you imagine that? After all of that ended, the waitress then came back up to my human pet and said, I'm sorry for how long it took for him to apologize. And then my human pet says, no, I'm sorry for how long I took to get it. And then she said, no, we are sorry. No, and it just kept on going on and on. The black hole basically, got divided by zero. That's what happened. And Volt Ashkol says, what about the ones who identify as cake? They cannot identify as cake, Volt. The cake is a lie. We all know that. Thank you very much. And, well, Dynamite21 says, ridden them. Remembers that? No, Dynamite, we are not remembering that. Remember, what I say on this stream definitely does not exist for the rest of time on YouTube. The nerve of you youngsters thinking that the celestial dragon like myself would look good riding a circle cake. Or cheese wheel, that is. Yes, the cake is a lie. I must remember that. The cake is a lie, therefore they cannot be cakes. And let me see what else. Fear and Foxes, is this something circles actually do, or is this a meme/joke? Fiery, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I apologize if I am saying it wrong. But Firin Fox, this is something that circles actually do, provided they find enough circles to do it. Believe me, I've seen it happen in person. It is like magic. It is like watching, again, Transformers in real life come together. You've got the one circle here, and it's like, oh yes, I am circle. And then you've got another circle. It's like, yes, I am also circle. And then it's like, look, we are circles. We shall transform. And then you put the circles together, and then another two come, and it's like, and then you do another two, and it's like, and before you know it, you have your cheese wheel. It is something that happens. Trust me. Every circle is naturally attracted to more cheese. I guess that's why cheese can be so sticky at times. I don't eat a lot of cheese, but I've seen it be such. And let us see what else is happening. Yoshiko's Raptoridus says, Tien, tell us about the stickers. I don't know what you're referring to, Yoshikos. I'm not familiar with these stickers you refer to. Or do you mean like telegram stickers that all the kids seem to love these days? I don't know if you're referring to stickers that you would use to actually like put on someone or something. You have to be more specific than that. I'm an old dragon. I forget very easily. And Fiorne is, that is how you pronounce your name. Fiorne says, thanks for the stream, Tien Long. Oh, well, you're very welcome, and I hope that you're able to stay around. The stream is still rather young, as I can see. It is only 6:41. Goodness, it has only been 40 minutes. It's felt, or already been 40 minutes. It's felt like it's been a little longer than that. We have a little bit more of this. I must be careful these days not to overindulge myself every time I partake in my wine or sake. The reason being is that I've actually recently had my teeth cleaned. Yes, you heard it here, folks. Tien Long had his teeth cleaned. I did not necessarily go to the dentist as you humans do, but I had special treatment from my human pet who had noticed I had, well, it was beginning to show that I enjoyed my wine a little too much. And therefore, he had declared that I had my teeth cleaned, and he used, of course, the whole, oh, you celestial dragons must look all regal and maintain your appearances. So I grudgingly agreed and I had my teeth cleaned. But I do think they look a lot brighter than they used to. I don't know if you're able to see it. Let me see if I can show you. Come here, I promise I won't bite. Oh my, what big teeth you have, Tien Long. Oh, that's my nose. No, you're not getting a nice close-up of my nose. I could not see the camera angle. That was not my nose. You're not getting any pictures of that. I better not see any screenshots or photoshopped images of my nose just now. How dare I trick myself into showing you those brightly brushed, sparkly fangs, and instead you get all of my nose and all that. And Tetris Wolf says, close up of the butt nose. No, you are not screenshotting that. You are not recording this or replaying that moment. I know how to yell at you. Yes, that is a threat. I know how to yell at you, and I will do it. And let me see. Deja says, are your noodles crooked, or is that just the angle in which you're sitting? No, Deja, that is just the angle in which I am sitting. My noodles are not crooked, they should not be. A Celestial's whiskers versus noodles are always maintained at their highest quality because, of course, they are the most defining features of Celestial dragons. You can ask any Celestial dragon, and they will tell you the same, that these whiskers that we have are to maintain those many... Oh, that feels rather nice. Sorry. They are to maintain our regal appearances, and actually they also denote our status within the celestial sort of hierarchy. The longer your whiskers and the more sort of, I guess, established they are, whether they're just flopping down like this or whether they're all like curled up and it's like, oh yes, look at me, I am a French celestial or something like that. They also do denote your status along the celestial hierarchy. Now you may ask, what my whiskers denote? Well, my whiskers denote two things that are very simple. One, I am old and I am too lazy to maintain my whiskers, and two, well, I guess the red color is because I do eat a lot of meat, and I forget that meat tends to stay in your whiskers when you're enjoying it raw, so we'll leave it at that, okay? It's a dragon thing, don't judge me. And Journey the Dutch Angelic Dragon asks Tien, what do you think about Protogen? Well, I can't actually say that I am familiar with Protogen. If this is one of those new modern age youngster things that you're referring to, I have absolutely no idea what it is about, and you'll have to enlighten me. And Altorius says, reminds me of that movie Wish Dragon that is in the works. Ah, yes, Wish Dragon, which all of the youngsters have sent me links in videos and clips of. Well, not necessarily videos, but they've sent me all the screenshots of the, the sort of demo, stills and the, well, I guess what you call the concept art. Yes, that is it, the concept art. They've sent me pictures of the concept art, and, well, that is Wish Long that you see in those concept arts. I have not seen him in many hundreds of years. That's probably why he disappeared all of a sudden. Wish Long and I used to be good pals because, well, he was just as grumpy as I was, and us grumps tend to stick together. And, well, he disappeared without a trace one day, and I had always wondered where he went off to. But now it makes sense that he was trapped in some sort of, sake good or, a magic teapot of some sort, because apparently that's what's happening in this film. But it is good to see Wishlong is making his career in Hollywood, and I do hope to see that movie once it comes out. It will be interesting to see what Wishlong has been up to. Hmm. And the Dragoon asks Tien Long, would you come to BLFC this year? As much as I would like to come to BLFC, unfortunately, I have other obligations that I must attend to that weekend. I did not realize that I was planning a little something, and it got in the way of BLFC, which I had also had my eyes set on. So, unfortunately, I shall not be at BLFC this year, but perhaps you'll be able to see a Celestial in some other form. We'll see what happens. Ugh. And Fiona Fox says, yes, they are half biological, half electronic. Ah, so you mean like a cyborg sort of thing? Well, if that is what a protogen is, then yay. Yay, cyborg, yay, half man, half amazing, that sort of deal. Well, in that case, all the youngsters, as long as you're not running around on my roofs and, like trying to, blast everything into little pixels and whatnot, then you do you, as I would say. You do what makes you happy, and, well, try not to, jump all over my roof or hack my interwebs or something. Ah. And Journey the Dutch Angelic Dragon says maybe half grumpy. Well, half man, half grumpy. Half grumpy, half amazing. Perhaps that is a better description. Half grumpy, half amazing. That is what most Celestials can be described as, actually, if you think about it. Yes, we'll stick with that. Half grumpy, half amazing. The new slogan for long. Half grumpy, half amazing. And Nustul says, Gummibjorn, the wine I got today is nothing for Grandma. Well, it was even very cheap. Well, Nustul, you do not want to get anything cheap from Grandma Kage, because as much as she may call herself, a cheap date, or was that Uncle Kage? Either one of those two. As much as Grandma might, enjoy the gifts, she is a proper lady, and she deserves a lady-like drink, such as, a huge 2-liter pitcher of sangria or mimosa. Oh, it is so funny whenever I get these messages from Uncle Kage saying, Grandma's at it again, and well, Grandma at it again essentially translates to, Grandma is out on the porch with her best friend Beta, who lives next door, and they're knocking back sangria like it's water. And, well, if you've ever seen two I guess, timeless ladies, I would describe them as, knocking back glasses of sangria and just, giggling stupidly out towards the pond that they live right next to. It's adorable, let's just say that. Hmm. And Kyoen says, Tien Long, you might be horrified to hear that I saw Gekai-kan at the Sake Awards contest. Oh. Well, I mean, was it the worst sake award contest? Because if that's the case, I'm not surprised. But if you're talking about, like, Japanese, national competition for sake tasting, then I've got a few concerns. Let's hope it was the first. Let's hope it's the, worst sake tasting awards ever sort of award. And let me see. Nustur says, I plan to get a nice Desai 50 for me, Kage, and Tien Long, or Ronnie. Well, if Ronnie is there, then perhaps he shall save it, or have the good presence of mind to save it for myself. But if I am there, well, I'd be more than happy to indulge. Riluka asks Tien Long, how often do you wash yourself? Well, I'll have you know, Luca, that I had washed myself just before coming onto stream. I have a principle where I shall never ever appear in front of anyone, regardless who they are. I will never appear in front of anyone disheveled or sort of undignified. Undignified meaning that I have not freshly brushed myself out. I have polished all of the necessary features that make a celestial dragon stand out. I have brushed the fangs. I have scrubbed myself thoroughly all over, made sure that I am clean and I am uh, without reprehensible features. So, in short, I have cleaned myself right before the stream, and I do hope that that sets an example for anyone out there as well. Is if you are going to be in polite company, whether offline or online, you should make every effort to make yourself as presentable as you would with your mother. Ah. And Yoshiko's Reptoridus says, Tien, the stickers you got on you by randoms last con. Oh, could you be referring to the kitty stickers that were being stuck onto my rear end without my notice? Could you be referring to those stickers that perhaps a Celestial had to find out the hard way when he was cleaning himself? Do you mean the stickers which may or may not have been distributed by the same badger who had labeled me as a kitty in the first place? I will not say any more on that subject lest I grab the camera and I shake it to bits until I imagine it crumbling in my claws like I do Boozy Badger. I will not relay that story or tale or any reference to it whatsoever. Undignified, that is. Bah! And Dynamite says, I hate to run off early, but something, something, something. I hate to run off early, but got to take care of things. Thank you, Tien, for the stream, and take care all. Well, thank you, Dynamite, for joining this stream. I do hope you enjoy your evening. What else is happening over here? Nustul says, Tien always look very clean and fluffy and smelling nice like ant flower. Well, I don't try to smell like a flower. If that was the case, then I'd have youngsters trying to hug me all over. I smell presentable. That is what everyone should smell like. They should smell presentable. And of course, I use that in a very objective way because not everyone is meant to smell like a flower. Certainly not dragons. Do you really think that dragons would bear smelling like flowers? Do you look at Tien Long and you think, oh, look at that daffodil-like dragon? Do you look at my big brother and think, oh, he must be all lavendery and, full of, baby cauliflower and watermelons? That is our flower. Yes, I just made that up. You will not find any dragon that would admit to smelling like a flower, because we are not meant to smell like a flower. Kyoan asks, Tien Long, how much dye have you been giving out lately? Not enough, that's how. And especially after what happened at Motor City FurCon, which I did not just mention about a minute ago, but after that incident, not enough indeed. Diokami asks, how come you're so huggable, Tien? Does any part of me look huggable whatsoever? I'm going to wait 10 seconds for the stream to catch up before I see the answers. And there it goes. Yes, 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 yes. Very huggable, says Nustul. Yes, yes. You kids have terrible taste. I am not huggable whatsoever. You try to hug me, and that's when you get that real organic serving of dye. I don't know what I have done to deserve this rating of huggable. If it was like what they do with movie ratings and it is like rated H for huggable, I don't know what I have done to deserve those ratings. Maybe I should, introduce more into that rating category to turn that up to, like off or restricted or something. And let me see what is happening. Yes, yes, very much. They're still saying yes, 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 very much, yes, all that. I don't know what I have done indeed. Maybe I should just continue to drink and not look huggable. Maybe I should just continue to turn myself into an unhuggable, lush, and then all of you will change your minds, or perhaps you'll find me more huggable because you're all sick in the mind. Here's to all of you kids, thinking I'm all huggable and all that. Bah! Mm, 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 mm. Oh, it's so easy to get carried away on that, it is. Yes, and Journey the Dutch Angelic Dragon says that's why he's known as Grumpy Tien Long. That is right, I am known as Grumpy Tien Long, not Huggable Tien Long, not Snuggleable Tien Long, not Adorable Tien Long, and certainly not Kitty Tien Long. And Real Luca says he's huggable and honorable, guys. One of those things is true, and I shall not tell you which. And Real Luca says he's... Oh, I just read that. Journey the Dutch Angelic Dragon says, Tien, you are not huggable. That is correct. And Nustil says, huggable kitty. No! And Aldia Harufa says, pounceable Tien Long. Well, I will tell you right now, Aldia, I have had some youngsters in past years try to pounce me. They are not doing a lot of pouncing these days. I shall say this on behalf of anybody who has a character and performs around conventions, outside of conventions, or elsewise. It is, as much as it may seem cute or endearing or adorable, it is a profoundly bad idea to pounce a character without them knowing or without their consent. Actually, both without their consent and without them knowing. You can cause more harm than you would affection or adorableness, but it may also be the cutest death ever. In my case, it would not be. It would be your cutest death ever, but in other fursuiters' cases, it might be the cutest death ever. So whatever characters you might be approaching, please don't surprise pounce them. Please do not come up to them, behind them. If Xiaolong Bao here was a character, please do not glomp them like this and render them completely paralyzed for the next 10 minutes or so, even as cute as it may be. Let's see what else is happening. Altoriu says, well, Samson is a huggable crocosaur, so if you ever come across him, be prepared to be hugged. Well, I don't know who Samson is, but I shall take your word for it, Altoriu, which is why I shall not come across him anytime soon. Thank you very much. Rabbit Hyena says, Tien Long, if you're always grumpy, does that make you Grumpy Cat? No, I am not Grumpy Cat because Grumpy Cat is copyrighted and I am not about to get a copyright infringement on my YouTube channel. Uncle Kage's already been a victim of that, and I shall not be the next. And if you don't know that story, well, you'll just have to ask Uncle Kage on his next stream, which is, well, it will be about mid-May, if I recall correctly. We try not to interfere with each other's shows, but it shall be about mid-May, and you can ask him what kind of infringement he had. And Bruzo Dragonius asks, Tien Long, any thoughts on Furvius, which is a fursuit Jack's film wore at the Shorty Awards? I have no real thoughts on it. If he wanted to wear it, then that is good on him. If he had fun, good on him. If he did not cause any harm, good on him. That is essentially the criteria that any performer goes through when they are in public doing something that someone might not agree to. Kyoan asks, Tien Long, do micros go well with sake? Well, I don't quite know if micros go well with sake. I like it when sake goes well with sake, and the only thing you should be putting with sake is more sake. And Luigi Man 5665 asks, what is your favorite drink now? Well, that's simple, Luigi Man. It is the one I have with me. In this case, once again, this is Shoune Junmai Dai Ginjo, which is a high-quality sake from Motor City FurCon, courtesy of Furry Trainer. So once again, my dear, if you are out there, I humbly thank you for this generous gift. Ah. And Volt Ashkor says, I bet someone got a clip of you glomping Xiaolong Bao. Well, of course they got a clip of me glomping Xiaolong Bao. I have clips all over Twitter and social media and YouTube, of course, of me, doing, staying alive, and I've got clips of, me giving out dye in copious amounts, and other clips of me, doing all sorts of undignified things, that is. At this point, I have to surrender my dignity and well, I guess I wouldn't say surrender my body because that will just make most of you murr, but I have to surrender my dignity and my body. All right, I'll say it. I surrender my body for your memes. The nerve of you kids. You have terrible tastes. Have I told you that? Picking on old dragons and their weaknesses. And Tokyo says, Tien Long, why does your nose have fingerprints? Does it now? Does it have fingerprints? I did not realize my nose had fingerprints. Do give me a moment. I shall investigate why my nose has fingerprints. I shall be right back. Why does my nose... Stay right here. You can all look at, that guy over there. Yes, you can look at Francois, the French dragon, posing like a French dragon. I'll be right back. I am going to investigate why mysterious nose prints or fingerprints have appeared on my nose. Yeah. All right. Which one of you has been touching my nose recently? You better not have been putting your fingers inside my nostrils. I swear if I find anything like that, you are all doomed. All right, I seem to have wiped off whatever debris or not debris. Huh. Why would it be debris? Would I be a victim of such things? Well, I have done my best to take care of whatever was on my nose. I don't know if it worked or not. We shall see. All right. No crotch cam. No crotch cam. There we are. All right. Well, I shall let the audience inspect my nose. Here. Is there any fingerprints on my nose? I can't see really well. I am an old dragon. Well, I shall let you tell me whether I have fingerprints on my nose or not. I shall wait 10 seconds once again for the stream to catch up. All right, let's see. Fiona Fox says, looks good. And then Jackal the Circle says, butt cam. There was no butt cam whatsoever. Terror the Dragon says, needs a little bit more polish. All right, well, I guess this has turned into let's help Tien look his best today by playing makeup with Tien. What do I have here that can be polished with? Ah, look, sake. I shall polish my nose with sake. There we are. There, is it shiny now? Let's see. Does it look like it's shinier now? There we are. Did I polish my nose enough for your liking? Are you humans now entertained that I have polished my nose with Junmai Daiginju sake? Did I mention that you all have terrible taste in dragons? I am all old and wrinkled, and yet you want me to polish myself for your enjoyment. All right, let me see. Oh, Journey the Dutch Angel Dragon says, I have to head back to work. Thank you for the stream. Well, thank you very much, Dutch or Journey. I hope you have a pleasant time working. All right. And Set the Dutch Angel Dragone says, looks wet. Well, gee, I wonder why. It is almost like I just took a droplet of sake and rubbed it all over my nose, and now I'm getting, like, drunk through sniffing. Yes, actually, this is actually quite effective. I am getting drunk just by sniffing this. applied a little bit too much, and wow, this is strong. Who knew this could happen? You can actually get inebriated by snorting sake. I should do this a little bit more. Hold on here. Let me try this. Oh, oh, look at the good. There are so many colors up there right now. Ugh, dude, it's like sake is like rice water. Ugh. Where was I again? Oh, what happened? What year is it? Oh, I'm still on the stream. Nothing happened just now. I hope that nothing was recorded. Was it recorded just now? It wasn't. Was it? Good. All right. Let's see what's happening. And Angus Lepus says, "Hi, old dragon from sunny North Dakota." Oh, hello, Angus Lepus from southern Canadian province. That is not part of Canada, but we think it is. And Kyoan says, "I think he's just stoned." No, Kyoan, nobody has been getting stoned since the Dark Ages. And Terra the Dragon says, "Wow, didn't think that would work." Neither did I. You see, you learn something new every day. Even as old as I am, for as long as I have been around, you learn something new every day, such as you can get high off of rice water vapors. That's right, you heard it here first. You can get high off of rice water vapors. Old Ashkol says, "Considering it was 420 was yesterday, you'd think he was high." Ah, yes, all the kids kept on, saying, "Oh, yes, look at me, it's 420, yay, yes, the blaze up and all that." I don't understand why it is so popular these days, but like I said earlier, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, and as long as you're doing it legally. Then again, there's this whole celebration that was happening yesterday in the city of Toronto, which is the city that I live closest to, and thousands of young guns apparently gathered in one of the squares in the city, and apparently all of the city yesterday was sunny and all warm except for one particular block which was cloudy. Literally, the weather reports, if you pulled up on a weather report of some sort, you would see that there was sunshine all over, and then there was one dark hole that was in the middle of the city. That was where all the clouds were blocking the satellites from being able to read what was going on in there. And Snazzy Fly says, "Tien, enjoy the drawing." Oh, well, I have a drawing. I have not seen it yet, Snazzy Fly, but at the same time, I hope that I will enjoy it. I am sure I will. Let me see. Something. Now kids are talking about the 420s, and someone from the Netherlands is going to be like, "Oh, 420, you guys are amateurs. We have it all the time here." Yes, we know everything is legal in the Netherlands and all that. But I am not one to partake in such activities, and I will not have it on my stream either. The only thing I will be getting high on, as you saw earlier, is rice water vapors, because that is something that I happen to support, is the consumption of rice waters, particularly fermented rice water. Darkyo says, "We need to get some Tim Hortons." Well, we could get some Tim Hortons at some point. I'm not sure when that may be. I know that Tim Hortons is quite popular with quite a lot of the Hoosers up here, or Hosers, depending on your accent. But Tim Hortons, of course, being the infamous coffee chain up here in Canada, one that every Canadian is hooked to, such as how, I guess people are hooked to, Starbucks in America. Something like that, something along those lines. Bruzo Dragonia says, "Speaking of which, it is 9:09 a.m. here in Newcastle, Australia." Well, I hope that you are having a good morning over there, Bruzo. Thank you for joining. And Set the Dutch Angel Dragone says, "Tien Long as Emperor Palpatine." I would not be Emperor Palpatine. If anything, a celestial dragon would never aspire to be Emperor Palatine. That would be the opposite way around. In fact, Emperor Palatine would be aspiring to be a celestial dragon. And Crazy Crux Production says, I think Tien sees my question, he just doesn't want to answer. I see many questions, I see many things flying up and down, and I do not mean to miss them intentionally. It just sometimes happens because I'm old. Then again, if it is a question that is of inappropriate nature, then, well, I am not going to answer it, and you should know why. And my big brother says, execute order Sake 6. Execute order Sake 6. Well, I don't know about executing any orders, but I shall refill my glass after this next sip because it is looking mournfully empty right now. Ganbei wo. I'm sorry, was I making those sounds? I promise that was not me. That was my glass. My glass tends to, it tends to get carried away at times. I do apologize. All right, well, now that I have finished with that glass, I shall give myself another because, well, it is good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. Anyhow, let us continue on. I wonder, I have not seen the wine thief. Well, not really wine thief, because technically this time he could peg me for being the wine thief. I have an entire case of his wine, that for the matter. I have not seen him here this evening yet. At least I don't think I have. Is the wine thief here, or rather the not wine thief? I guess he should be the wine victim tonight. Is the wine victim here tonight? I do know that he was teasing an old celestial about having a Dasai 50 to partake in tonight, and I was all like, huff and huff, and then I had to fetch my Shoune in order to match up to that. And Tetris Wolf says, Palpatine. Yes, I like that, Tetris Wolf. Good job, Palpatine. I would be Emperor Palpatine. Or rather, Emperor Palpatine would aspire to be Emperor Palpatine. And Luigi Man 5665 says, if someone gave you the blind taste test for various sake, would you participate? That is a rather interesting question. Normally, I would jump at the opportunity. I'd say, yeah, I want, because, well, sake. But I have grown wiser over the years, especially with how long I've been tasting sake. I have grown wiser to those that would offer me sake in good intention, but are not necessarily trained in how to offer particular sakes. You see, perhaps I shall tell the story now. The story being that, well, my human pet, a few years back, he had his celebration for his birthday. And in celebration, he wanted to acquire and libate with a rather high-class sake. At that time, he was not as well versed, and at the time, he had not consulted a celestial dragon because, well, my human pet can get a little, he can get a little stubborn at times, as we all do. And he had gotten himself a bottle of Taikyu Daiginjo sake, Taikyu white, as they call it. And, well, the problem with this sake is that although it is a high-quality sake, it is a Junmai Daiginjo, Taikyu, the brewery, does not put its bottling date on the bottle. As many of you may recall, if you have been on my stream or Uncle Kage's stream, one of the things that you must do is always refer to the bottling date of the sake in which you get. And, well, this one, without the bottling date, it was a little bit of a gamble. It was a gamble that my human pet decided to take. And when he arrived back at Uncle Kage's residence, where I was laying outside. See, I'm too big usually for Uncle Kage's residence, but he was, he had gone in, he had poured himself a glass, and before I could stop him, because as soon as he opened the bottle, I could smell it had gone off. But as soon as he had that first sip, his face turned as sour as that sake tasted, and that sake was gone. Oh goodness gracious! I felt I was I it was one of the few moments I had felt sorry for my human pet, where he had expected a high quality premium like heaven running down your throat in liquid form. Oh my! With George Takei narrating every single second of it, he was expecting all of that, and instead he got like old dish rag wrung out in swamp water and then, filtered through weak old jockstrap sake. Let's just stop there before I throw my sake up. Cheers to you all. I hope I haven't ruined your drinking appetites. Uh, mm, mm, mm. Um, Anyhow, after that enlightening story, let's see how the young ones are doing. And Annalicia Welsh says, "Hello, did I miss anything yet?" Yes, you did, Annalicia. You missed the entire first hour of the stream, if you must know. But do make yourself at home while you are here now. Mike said he drank dye. Yes, that is correct. My human pet. Oh, his poor soul. I don't know if it's still recovered or if he's still looking for it this day, but as soon as he had that single sip of that sake, his soul escaped through the other end of him and ran as far as it could away from him. That sake, it was just sheer unfiltered disappointment. That was the expectation. That was the reaction, rather. The reaction that came out was just complete heartbreak. Because you are expecting, especially on a special occasion as his birthday, my human pet, expecting such an exquisite experience, expecting nothing but the finest in Asian culture, super high distilled quality. Yes, this will definitely nail you a blowjob quality sake. And it just disappointed. It was everything I had described before, but I will not describe it again lest I throw up all over the camera. But again, every lesson is, well, it could be a blessing in disguise, because that was a lesson that was learned in the hardest of ways. And thank goodness that I wasn't the one partaking in it, because, well, if I was, then I probably wouldn't be enjoying sake as much as I do now. I learned from my human pet, and, well, I know much more the wiser now. So if I were to be offered a test or a blind taste challenge test, I would have to be very, very skeptical about who is providing the test. Let's see what else is happening. And Tetris Wolf says something about Tien needs some mixed drinks, and, well, as soon as I see mixed drinks, I say, ah, that, 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 that. The only thing I mix in my drinks is more of the same drink. If I am having sake, I mix it with more sake. If I am having Uncle Kage's definitely not his wine, I will mix it with Uncle Kage's definitely not his wine. That is what I mix my drink with, because it is the only way to mix your drinks. Others may have different preferences, such as making yourselves, Moscow mules or mojitos or martinis or Manhattans or cosmopolitans or any sort of mixed drink that you enjoy. And that is all for you when you enjoy what you like. But I enjoy mixing my sake with more sake. Thank you very much. And Fiona Fox says, where can I get a bottle of the Psy? Well, that is quite easy. You can easily get a bottle of the Psy if you look online. If you are located in the US, you can look at truesake.com, I believe is the address, and they have listings for the Psy bottles, which they are happy to ship within the continental US. If you're outside, well, simply find your nearest liquor respectable. Simply find your nearest respectable liquor store and see if they have an Asian section. If they do not have an Asian section, you can request that they, put in a special order, perhaps for some Asian sake, Japanese sake. I should correct myself. I should not say Asian sake because, that could result in what my human pet had. Yes, that sake was probably made in China, which is probably why it tasted the way it did. And Crazy Crux Production says, what would happen if I tie your noodles together? Would sake be needed? A miracle would be needed if you tied my noodles together. A miracle from someone keeping me from strangling you. Very, very hard. And Annalicia Wells says, I hate going to the gas station now, and then with a very mischievous smile of sorts. Well, I don't know what you find to hate about the gas station, other than the fact that it smells like gas, and that gas prices are slowly going up and up because, well, people are like that. But, well, I don't see what there is to hate about gas stations. I find that the people at gas stations, it's like takeout for dragons, If you park yourself at a gas station as a dragon, you have an infinite supply of food coming in and out. It's like delivery service, but 24/7. I absolutely adore it as a dragon. The humans have such ingenious ways of feeding us. And, well, Bruzo says, may I comment my observation of you comparing sake with hist sop? Oh, well, I'm sure that there's some relation. I cannot say I'm familiar with hist sop, and if I am, I probably don't remember it for good reason. But again, my observation of certain sakes is less than favorable, and then, of course, if it is a good sake, then I don't have any observations, I have libations. It is much better to spend less time on talking about a good sake than it is to drink it. Which is why, again, at the beginning, I didn't spend a lot of time talking about that show uni. I just said, look, here's sake. I shall put it in my mouth. And then I put it in my mouth. And Dakyo says, I got to go. Have a good day / night, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us, Dakyo. I hope that you have a good evening. Tien Long, my big brother, says, Chinese rice wine is something else. Oh, goodness. I don't know if you've ever heard or even tasted of Chinese rice wine, but that is not rice wine. That is holy water to drive out all of the demons that exist within your soul, whatever demons that you may have. That is an absolutely foul and just horrific experience that you do not want upon yourself unless an exorcism is needed on your soul. Chinese rice water, again, if it's made in China, take it with a grain of salt. It is something, even as a Chinese celestial dragon, it is something that I would say to anyone out there is if it comes from China, you might want to think twice before you take it, especially if it comes in the form of rice water. I've always thought about having Chinese rice wine on one of my streams. I think that's probably what I am going to do for, say, if I ever have a final stream. One last stream. The stream to end all streams. That would be the one stream which I make that terrible decision to go down that path to have an exorcism on that stream and drown myself in said liquor, because that stuff is meant for chasing out demons. If you've ever seen, a Chinese Jiangshi, if you've ever seen a Chinese ghost of some sort, if you've ever seen an annoying Chinese salesman, you can chase them away with this kind of liquor. Believe me, just take a little cloth full of it and say, the power of rice wine compels you, and throw it at them, and they will run away screaming. And then if it touches them, you'll see like it starts burning their arms up and steam will start hissing up, and then it will be pretty much like every cheap B-grade vampire film you've ever seen. And Deja says, well, 1:24 in the morning, I'm off to bed. Well, thank you very kindly for joining us, Deja. I hope you have yourself a good evening. And what else are the youngsters saying? New Stool says, I had a U.S. sake in a Japanese restaurant. Well, there are not many U.S. sakes that I can think of right now, New Stool. Perhaps you had one that was served hot because, well, as many of you may know, the reason why that Americans or anyone would serve sake hot is because they're trying to mask the absolutely horrendous flavor that the sake has, which is usually done with Gekkaikan or Shochikubai, or if we're talking about an American sake, G sake from Oregon State. I have nothing against Oregon State, but God, you guys make terrible sake. I will say that very loud and proudly. And my big brother says, wine drunken stewed chicken on a hot plate. Now, big brother, you don't want the chat seeing you getting horny now, even though you've got very big horns. No need to get horny in front of the youngsters. And let me see. And LRWS says, I was just about to say G sake. Well, I myself had a rather terrible experience with G sake. I don't know what other kind of experience you can have with G sake, but a terrible one indeed was had. I remember it was either the second or third Grumpystream I had ever done. The second or third Grumpystream I had ever done, I had decided that I would experiment with G sake because, well, it was something that I had not seen before. American sake. I thought it would taste like freedom. I thought it would taste like, the bold, crisp, clean air of, the Rockies in Colorado, or, the chilly, brisk, sea breeze of, Oregon State coastline next to the Pacific Ocean. Well, I thought it would taste something that I could appreciate or at least tolerate. Neither of those was true. Neither of those things that I expected were founded in that sake. What I did find in that sake, however, was absolute death served by Oregon State. I try not to remember those kind of streams, but unfortunately YouTube does, and so does my audience. I don't know if it's somewhere recorded up there, but if it is, I hope that it gets taken down soon. And let me see. Terra the Dragon says, have to leave you all. Good night. Well, thank you very much for joining, Terra. It seems that it is getting quite late for many youngsters already, even though it is a Saturday evening. Then again, many are joining from across the ocean, or across the pond, as some of you say, and across the pond it is well past midnight. I want a little bit more of this first. Oh, I do wish I could share some of this with you all. This is quite exquisite. Thank you once again, Furry Trainer, and Ganbei to you all. So let us see what else is happening so far with the youngsters. American sake says, Fiona Fox, American sake tastes like disappointment like our president. Well, I'm not going to comment on that second part, but I will agree with the first part of that statement, which is American sake does not taste like freedom, it tastes like toilets. There's pretty much only two things to do with either American sake or Chinese rice wine, which is one, you use it in exorcisms, or two, you use it to clean the toilet. Those are the only two things that you use it for. Those two things, American sake and Chinese rice wine, and Gekkaikan and Shochikubai. Those are essentially a waste of money, and if you do happen to receive it, they are good for the only two things that I've illustrated. And what are the other youngsters saying now? Well, Annalicia well says, ouch, warm sodas make me sick. I don't know why anyone would like warm soda whatsoever unless they were allergic to cold, but warm sodas are somewhat counterintuitive to why soda was made to enjoy in the first place. They are made specifically to be enjoyed chilled. And Tetris Wolf says, but Tien, vodka cleans stuff better. Well, vodka for the Russians is like, that's basically their water. I mean, that's why I think they're so hardy all the time, is because they drink more vodka and water, and it kills all of the germs that happen to exist within them. So, in that case, vodka actually has some beneficial uses. But on the other hand, Gekai kan Shochiku by American sake and Chinese rice wine do not have any beneficial uses other than exorcisms and toilet cleaning. And vodka, I'll have you know, makes some pretty mean drinks as well. Although I don't seem like it, I do happen to be a fan from time to time of some vodka martinis. Gin martinis are also not too bad, but these are very, very rare occasions, either when I am being a little bit of a snob, that is Lord Tien, of course, or if I'm not buying. Anyhow. And Guilty Fox says American sake is good for cleaning a paintbrush at least, also high all. Well, first of all, Guilty Fox, it is basically good for cleaning whatever you don't bother to clean with water, because water is precious and G sake from Oregon is not. Second of all, hello, Guilty Fox. And Annalicia Welsh says, I can't wait for May 24. Why? What's happening May 24? May 24? Is that a significant day? That is, if I recall, that is a Thursday. I'm not sure. Oh, well, I can see why you're waiting for Thursday. After all, Thursday is the day in which I happen to enjoy myself the most without any repercussion. After all, on a scale of drunk to as heck, I am on a Thursday. That is where I wish I was, at least. And Luigi Man says, I have to thank you, Honorable Tien Long, for telling us about the... And then I can't see what's the rest of that, but I have to thank you, Honorable Tien, for telling us about the True Sake website. I'm going to have to explore what info it has. Oh, well, you're very welcome. True Sake is... It's a rather good sake, I would say. A sake... inventory, and they do know what they are talking about. So truesake.com or TrueSake, whatever it is called, is a good place to start if you are looking into exploring different sakes. And Kyoan asks Tien Long, has Zhu Long Bao, I think you must mean Xiao Long Bao, Xiao Long Bao been guarding your wine? Well, I don't know, because Xiao Long Bao here seems to be trying to work on his film career as well. I don't know what it is with Longs these days trying to get into the film industry, but some of you may see, or have seen, that there is a new Disney animated short coming out that is called Bao. And of course, being called Bao, it features none other than a bao. And this bao is remarkably similar to Xiaolong Bao over here, in which it sprouts these little arms and little feet, and it looks adorable, and it makes all these cute little sounds, and then suddenly you're disarmed by its very existence. So I don't know if he's been doing as good of a job guarding my wine as he has been improving his Hollywood career. We shall have to see when I check my cellar again and see if the wine thief has gotten his hands on his Dr. Lawson. Let us see what else is happening. Tony Ringtail says, if Tien Long is a kitty, will he like catnip? Tony Ringtail, I will say, if you try putting catnip in front of me, it's only going to fly back into your face. Diokami asks, has someone ever got stuck on your paws, brackets feet, question mark? I can't really tell, because if they have, I don't feel it. If they've gotten stuck between my feet or my toes, well, They shouldn't have been in my way in the first place. Hmm. And Annalisa Will says, I am graduation at my high school. Oh, well, first of all, congratulations, Annalisa. I am very happy for your achievement. Second of all, what are you doing here without your parents' permission to watch this old fart yell at you while getting inebriated? I have many questions for your parents, young miss. Ah. And Nustul says, when is sake definitely too old? Nustul, I have you know that sake is best within 1 year of its bottling date. Now, I mentioned bottling dates earlier, and I assumed that most of the audience here was familiar with all of the rules and the advice and the guidelines and all that rabble that I spout about sake and try looking like, a respectable connoisseur of such things. But since you do ask, and I am one to advise on good sake, sake is best enjoyed within 1 year of its bottling date. For example, if you see that the sake is labeled something like 09.17, that means it was bottled in September of 2017. 09 being September, 17 being 2017, the last 2 digits of the year. That means that compared to this date, which is 0418, it is approximately 8 months old, which is not bad whatsoever. Not bad at all. Maybe 7 or 8 months old, depending on when exactly it was bottled. And that would be an acceptable sake. Now, if you had a sake that was, say, 09.16, which means it was bottled the previous year, September 2016, that one you may want to have a little bit of caution with, because that means it is at least 1.5 years too old. And, well, that is pretty much the threshold of when sake goes from good to not so good, which is about 1.5 years. So you would want to try looking for a bottle that is from within 1 year's range from its bottling date, or at the very most 18 months. If you are trying to look on a website, they will more than likely not give you a bottling date. Because, well, they can't really give you all the bottles and their dates on a website, so in which case, if you're ordering from that website, you may have to roll the dice, as you may say, and take a chance with what bottle you may get. And Amy S. says, how would you react to a plushy bottle of your favorite sake? Oh, well, did I mention I would do no huggles or snuggles or cuddles earlier? Well, I may just reconsider for a... what am I talking about? Yeah. I would be very, very honored if I were to receive a plushy version of a sake bottle. I would be most honored and show that in the most respectable way whatsoever. Yes, that is my answer, and I'm sticking to that. And LRWS says, I recall Kage saying 18 months is the cutoff, but you're better off drinking it within 1 year of bottling. That is essentially what I have illustrated just now, and the rule pretty much sticks true. Remember, sake is made of rice. Rice, of course, having expiry, or rather, it expires like all other grains do, and you do not want to eat it well past its best before. Sake, which is made of rice byproduct known as rice koji, has a bit of a longer date in terms of how long it can be fresh and optimal to consume. But at the same time, you don't want to wait too long. Because, if you wait too long, then that would be like being a dragon. Too long. Get it? You don't want to be too long. You kids these days. And Gumi Bjorn says, take care all with a heart. I am assuming that Gumi has to depart for the evening. Gumi, thank you very much for joining. And Apparently, according to my big brother, there is a sake bottle plush pillow. Is there now? I mean, well, of course there is. If it is made in China, then, well, of course it exists. The Chinese populace is capable of making pretty much anything you could imagine, and the sake bottle plush is most definitely within their capability. Hmm. Oh, well, to see what else is happening. Oh, it is already past an hour and a half for this stream. So I shall, well, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to quickly take a break and I shall return. And when I do return, we shall get to the Patreon drawings, which, of course, are all of my $25 and up patrons rewards that they get each and every month. But all of my patrons I do cherish because, well, they are the ones that help keep this show running. And in particular, they are the ones that are keeping me sort of able to do this particular stream without breaking my back. And by that I mean, of course, being able to, well, supporting me in getting my new computing device, which I am now using for the stream. So, again, my patrons, reading them off in no particular order, we have Jackal the Sergal, Arabian Darkstone, Yakisoba, Altorius, Silent Dawn, Trottlebear, Volt Ashcore, Valius Marshall, BT Werewolf. Where are the other ones? There we are. We have Goldroxen, Angus L, Bo Arin, we have Indigo Ryu, Amber Thompson, Zragan, and that's all they wrote. Well, regardless, I am very, very grateful for all of my patrons as always, and I hope that I can continue to earn your generosities. But in the meantime, I am going to take a very quick break, and when I return, we shall continue with the patron drawings. So, in that case, I will be right back. Do not go anywhere far, young ones, because, well, if you do, you won't get to see what sort of madness I get up to in a bit. All right, here we are. I'll All right, well, we are back now, and I see that I have already crookedified my camera over here. There we are. So, as I mentioned before, I had gone on my little intermission. My patrons of my $25 tier and above, they do get a drawing request every month, of course, provided by yours truly. They have a 0% guarantee of receiving any sort of quality art from a celestial dragon because, let's face it, I am not an artist, I'm a dragon. There's a clear difference between the two. All right. Well, without further ado, oh, sorry, the stream was a little laggy over there. Without further ado, we shall get started with the first of the drawings. Now, first off, on my patron list, we have none other than Altoriu. Greetings, Altoriu. For this month, Altoriu wants since Verdu is coming up and the theme is pretty much a noir type theme, can I get a pic of myself dressed in a suit and tie? Could be investigating another case of Tien's missing sake. Well, a rather appropriate theme, if I could say so myself, Altoriu. Let's see what I am able to come up with. All right. Where did my drawing pen go just now? Ah, there it is. I have found it. My apologies, an old dragon is taking his time because, well, as I have just said, I am old, and us old ones need to take things a little bit slower than you young ones. All right, is this the right one? There we are. So, Altoriu would like himself in a suit and tie, investigating my missing sake. More than doable in my case, because I have always got sake missing, and I am too old to be looking for it myself. So starting along over here. Oh, excuse me just a moment. Bah, my apologies. I seem to be having a couple technical difficulties. It keeps on telling me that something has dropped on this side, and I'm not sure what keeps on dropping. Perhaps my sanity levels, but in any case, we shall get started with Altoriu's drawing. So, we have, first off, we have Altoriu. Perhaps I should move this a little closer here. There we are. Perhaps we'll give Altoriu a little fedora cap. And then we have to draw Altoriu's very nice suit and tie, of course. Any dragon that is a true dragon knows how to dress themselves for any occasion, but like any true dragon, they don't wear pants because pants are never necessary for a dragon. Oh, sorry, just excuse me for one more moment. Oh, it is difficult when you get older, let me say that right now. All right, I'm sorry. Where were we again? Ah, yes, back to drawing our Toryu. There we are. So we have our Toryu, and he is inspecting the case of the missing sake from my cellars. So perhaps we shall have one of the racks in my cellar. I'm going to move my bottle over this way. There we are. That is my reference now. And we shall draw the outline of the same bottle, which is now missing from my cellar. We have some other bottles of my sake. And of course, a couple more because the dragon must keep his inventory well in stock. What do we have? The missing sake over there in this corner. And perhaps we shall have the culprit off to the side over here. The tiny cockroach running away with said bottle, which is a bit big for him, but of course he seems to be experienced with taking my bottles of sake. And clearly Altoriu is missing that very key piece of evidence of the culprit running away with the sake. That is Altoriu investigating the mysterious case for the umpteenth time of my sake going missing. This is for Altoriu. Thank you very kindly, Altoriu. I do kindly appreciate your generosity, as I do with all my patrons. I shall leave that over on that side for now. Who do we have next? Next we have BT Werwolf. BT Werwolf, guten Tag. My request for tonight is a Jedi Tien using the Force to make, well, what am I making? To make a sake bottle float into his paws, or multiple bonus points for other characters shocked, angry, or happy to see this. Huh. Well, I never imagined myself as a Jedi, but, well, I guess there's a first for everything these days, especially in this realm. So, we shall proceed with, well, first of all, myself. And I most definitely do not have a butt nose. And perhaps I have my Jedi hood over here. I'm like Obi Tien Tien Long. Yes, I am. And of course, I must have my horn sticking out from out here. And it's like, ooh, look at this sake god over here. It is now floating. It is magic. Ooh, look at my bottle over here. It is now floating. I am using the force. There we are. I am one with the force. As you can see, it is now floating in mid-air. And now perhaps other characters looking shocked or angry or happy for me. Perhaps we can have, we can have perhaps a wine thief down here. The wine thief is angry down here because he can no longer reach the sake. There we are. And then we can have perhaps my big brother over here. And my big brother is, of course, going, wah. And my big brother is, well, he's not quite a Jedi, so he doesn't get his Jedi robes. There we are. We have myself over here, and I am using the force to levitate these wine goods and bottle, my wine good and my wine bottle. My big brother is over there shocked, and we have the wine thief down here, and he is all angry. So we shall give him the angry emoji. Perhaps two, because he's that angry. There we are. Alright, that is for BT Werewolf. That is me using the force to levitate wine bottles and goods and additional characters. That is for BT. Thank you very kindly, BT. I am sure that this will make its way over to you very shortly. Oh, let me pick that back up. There we are. And deposit it over on this side. All right. Who is next? We have Jackal the Sergal. Jackal the Sergal, good to see you. Jackal the Sergal I would like you to draw two scene. One of my Sergal self at work as I am busting my ass hard working and getting murped at by the boss. And the other is of me under a blanket with my muzzle and tail hanging out as two middle fingers are high in the air because snow in the spring. Well, I can certainly relate to one of those, so I shall do my best for you, Jackal the Sergal. Alright, let us start with scene number 1. Jackal the Sergal busting his ass, hard working, and getting murped at by boss. Alright, well, we can certainly do that. Here we are. Jackal the Sergal. We have, first of all, Jackal is a Sergal, so that means he is a cheese wheel. You must give the cheese his appropriate angles. You see there's lots of angles there. Lots of angles for this cheese. There we are. And Jackal just busted his arse. So we shall draw a busted arse. And this busted arse is like all like bruised and busted and whatnot. And it's all like sad, but Jackal's all angry because his boss, so maybe I should draw like a sad face on the butts. Maybe I'll just draw a speech bubble from the butts, and it's like, I am sad because I have busted my butts. And Jackal is, of course, hard at work. But Jackal's boss, which will make a blob, Jackal's boss, and perhaps this blob wears like a tie or something, and we shall call him Bloss. This is the blob boss, which is a bloss, is going all like merp because Jackal is busting his butt at work. And of course, the boss blob doesn't like that because boss blobs are like that. Silly bloss. Ah, all right. And perhaps Jackal over here is all grumbly because he is all angry that his boss blob is not understanding just how much work Jackal is putting into his day job. But that is all right because Jackal will secretly turn this bloss into a cheese wheel himself. That will show him indeed. Perhaps over here we can have Jackal, amongst other cheese wedges as well. Perhaps, Jackal works at like a cheese factory. There we are. Would be fitting for an angle dragon. So we've got lots of cheese around Jackal. There we are. And then some of these cheese perhaps might stick to Jackal if he gets a little too close. Have some cheese over here flying through the air. There we are. Plenty of cheese friends for Jackal. All right, Jackal. That is scene number 1 for Jackal the Sergal. And now scene number 2. I shall put this as for Jackal. That is scene number 1. And now scene number 2. This one is certainly one that I can relate to. Here we go. We have just Jackal's muzzle, perhaps a little bit more, but Jackal is hiding under the blankets over here. There we are. And we have Jackal hiding under the blankets, flipping off, well, the snow in the spring, so perhaps we'll put a window over here. And outside is like hills of snow and lots of snow all over the place because, as Jackal understands, it is Narnia all over and there's absolutely no place to go. Perhaps Jackal is laying on a little pillow fortress over here as well. So we've got pillows abound everywhere over here. We've got perhaps a mug of hot cocoa, something to keep you warm in the snow. But overall grumpiness, which of course I can relate to. After all, I'm not Grumpy Tien Long for nothing. And perhaps a rug over there. All right. Well, that is essentially the gist of Jackal hiding from the snow. But this is, well, this is very fitting for the theme, which, well, is I should have never retired in Narnia. This is for Jackal. There we are, Jackal. Thank you very kindly. Oh, goodness. Oh, well, I have just accidentally spilled my glass of sake. Well, first of all, that is a damn shame. And, well, that is quite a big spill indeed. Well, do excuse me for just a moment once again while I try to deal with this sudden spillage. Well, goodness, you would never hear Tien Long, the celestial dragon, connoisseur of only the finest sake, spilling all over his den floor. All right, well, excuse me for just a little moment while I try to mop this up as best as I can. I swear that this is not me approaching the end of the stream this quickly. It's just a bad circumstance that just happened. All right, perhaps I should put it here somewhere where I cannot spill it. And I just had these cleaned, goodness me. All right, well, it doesn't seem like anything else has been particularly soaked other than the flooring of my den over here. Oh, well, let me just do a check just to ensure that nothing is soaked. Doesn't seem like it is, but I have mopped up as best as I can. But then I come prepared with a towel just in case things get a little too moist over here and they have on the ground. All right, let us continue. I apologize for that brief little interruption, but the sake had been spilled, and well, I shall keep that to just us, the Grumpystream audience, for now. But moving right along, next up we have Silent Dawn. Silent Dawn says, I likely won't be around to watch your live show. I'm at, furthermore, I might pop into chat for a few brief moments, but you can still draw for me. Draw what I might be doing right now at this furry convention. Interesting proposition, drawing what you might be doing at this furry convention. Furthermore, as they say. All right, well, draw what Silent Dawn is doing at Furthermore. I know what Silent Dawn is doing at Furthermore. Silent Dawn at Furthermore. I still feel very bad for that sake that I just spilled. All right. Apologies, I just had to check whether or not that sake had spilled onto my foot. Goodness gracious of me, if I would have sake spill on my foot, I'd have to, clean it off and all that sort of stuff. Although I did have to wipe off some of that sake with my fingers, and I must say, it still tastes the same. Anyhow. All right. I can't grab this. There we are. There we are. So, Silent Dawn at Furthermore. Silent Dawn at Furthermore He is flying around right now in a helicopter, perhaps like an Apache attack copter over here. This is Silent Dawn. And I shall point it out. This is Silent Dawn in his helicopter. And he is at Furthermore. Which is this lovely building over here, perhaps. And he is trying his best to navigate the helicopter away from this lovely convention building without smacking into it, because Silent Dawn has never done that with a helicopter before. And we can all trust Silent Dawn when it comes to piloting helicopters. And he's all like, well, perhaps we can have like a fox out here or something like that. And the fox is going, wah! Looking at Silent Dawn coming in hot with this gigantic helicopter that he shall not smack into the Furthermore Hotel with. And perhaps we have up here we have none other than Boozy Badger. And Boozy Badger is like, the fuck? There we are. So we've got Silent Dawn flying into Furthermore with Boozy Badger on the roof, wondering what the fork is going on, and a fox outside that is watching this madness happen because Silent Dawn somehow found a helicopter in Baltimore. There you go. You have this, Silent Dawn. You have what you are doing at Furthermore. This is for Silent Dawn. Thank you very much, Silent Dawn. I hope you're having yourself a good time there. Try not to crash any helicopters in Baltimore, please. Oh, get off you get. All right, and next up we have Silver Gatomon. Silver Gatomon. Alex the Lion asks, do you know how hard it is to fly a helicopter? Yes, I happen to, because Silent Dawn told me. That is why he has that picture, Alex the Lion. All right, next up we have Silver Gatomon, as I have said. Silver Gatomon, Tien trying to play mini golf with the badge odds. Me trying to play mini golf with the badge odds? Clearly someone has seen the video of me playing mini golf, period. All right. Me trying to play mini golf with the badge odds. I believe this is doable. We shall try. We have first myself. We've got myself. And I am holding the putter over here. At least I think it's called a putter. And I've got my ball. But in the way of me actually making any sort of attempt to shoot the ball, or putt the ball rather, Over here. Rather than any sort of attempt of me putting the ball, we've got badge art number 1, which is like a mix of an otter and a badger, which is going to be very strange. This one's a little rollier than usual. Perhaps Boozy's been feeding this one too much bacon. After all, one of his badge arts is a bacon monster. And that same bacon monster is also one that went kitty. We've got badge art number 2 over here. She is the cutest one, who wants to be a kitty, apparently. We got badge art number 2. We've got badge art number 3, who is like the most intense of them all. And he is waving his putter in the air for some reason, maybe because he is that intense. And we got badge art number 4. And she's sort of laid back and chill. This actually looks more like a tooth. Yeah, that's all right. I think she still looks fine. After all, they all have multiple characters, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was one of their characters anyways. All right. Well, I guess I should have the mini golf hole, which is here, with its little flag. And I cannot possibly get it in one shot because all of these young ones are in my way and they are all interested in anything but letting me play mini golf. So over here, I am just going. And of course, we are on a mini golf course, which is always weird and potato shaped, if I recall correctly. There we are. This is for Silver Gatomon. Thank you very much, Silver Gatomon. That is me being tormented endlessly by a group of badge arts who love nothing more than to do what I just said. All right, next up we have Trottle Bear, if I recall correctly. Yes, we do. Hello, Trottle Bear. Trottle Bear would like, hello, Mr. Noodle Dragon. Please draw for me a Trottle Bear as a Care Bear with a heart on the belly, and maybe an SD Tiger, and yourself not quite caring, going, meh. Well, I believe that that is doable, especially that last part. That is something that, again, I am very familiar with. Okay, here we go. We've got Trottle Bear, first of all. Got Trottle Bear. Trottle Bear as a Care Bear with a heart on his stomach. Then you've got Silent Dawn Tiger. He's a little cross-eyed right now. Perhaps he's been spelling that Magnum Sharpie that he got from Kage and myself. Then you've got myself. And I'm looking a little cross-eyed as well. Perhaps it's the caring that's in the environment that's making us cross-eyed. We're getting high off of it, maybe. There we are. Silent Dawn and myself are going meh. While Truttlebear is being all Care Bear-ish, and he's all like, love me, please. There we are. That is for Truttlebear. There we are. Thank you very much, Truttlebear. And for this month, last but not least, I believe last but not least, we have Volt Ashcore. Volt Ashcore, how are you doing, Volt? Volt would like for my drawing. Oh, I have clicked something I did not want. Here we are. For my image this time, I'd like to see either Tien standing in the middle of the current weather saying the fuck, or Tien trying to fix the weather as if he was a technician. Well, I'm not quite good with fixing the weather these days. Again, it is not my job. I retired. So these days I am more to do the first. So, we have myself, first of all. Standing outside, presumably, in all of this goodness-forsaken weather. Saying the fuck. And of course, goodness forsaken because it's like blizzarding and it's snowed in on one side. But then on the other side, it's like all nice and shiny. Oh, and apparently I've gotten a warning from my new device that says, oh, well, it's complaining that apparently my power is running low. Do excuse me for a moment, young ones. I do have to go and plug in this computing machine, if I can find where I left the charger. But I shall be right back. An old dragon, of course, forgot that these things do need some energy to run off of. I shall be back in another moment. Be right back. No crotch cams, no playing around the stream in the meantime. plug it in there. Yeah. And we should be good to go. That is, of course, if I don't trip over this damn thing. Ugh. Apologies for that. I have returned. Whew, that took a little bit out of an old dragon to run up that flight of stairs in that short amount of time. Ooh. All right. Where were we? Oh, yes. Old Ashcore wanting me to give my weather report. And my weather report for this evening and this month is the fuck. Because over here we have like spring-like weather with trees and whatnot. And over in Narnia we have the winter weather that is being blown against my face. All right, there you go. That is for fault. We have the spring-like weather that is supposed to be here, and we have the winter weather that I am actually being bombarded with. All right, there we are. And that, I believe, concludes the Patreon drawings for this month. So, in which case, let me switch back quickly to the other camera. If you'll excuse me for one moment. Ah, well, we seem to be back online now, although we are a little bit tipsy, it appears. I believe that's a little better. Ah, that does seem to be a bit better. All right, we are back once again, and I apologize for all those little... let me cover that sake stain up. Waste not, want not, of course, but apologies for those little blips and those slip-ups. Again, as an old dragon, it gets hard to properly manage these things on your own. And plus, I think a little bit of my oldness is running off onto the stream itself, so I do apologize. Well, after I did have that unfortunate spill, my glass is looking mournfully empty, but at the same time, I am feeling just a tad bit winded by all of the events that had happened thus far, so I shall refill this glass only partially, and once that glass has finished, I think it is time for me to call it an evening. So I shall refill this glass, and hopefully this time not have a party foul. There we are. That is good enough for an old dragon. Cheers to you all. If you are still here, thank you for keeping me company. Sorely needed indeed. All right, let us see what else is happening with these youngsters. Well, what is happening now? All the youngsters are saying, well, Gene Rosnick says, I'm surprised he didn't say he was sorry for spilling the sake. Did I spill sake? I don't quite remember. What is happening on here? I seem to have forgotten where I am. This is what old age does to you. Old age just makes things happen in a blur, and suddenly, where am I again? What year is this? That's what it does to you. Especially because, I am feeling winded all of a sudden. And as I said, once that remaining glass is finished, I believe so am I for this edition of the Grumpystream. But fear not, that glass is not yet finished. Alex the Lion asks, do you know Aslan? Why, yes, Alex the Lion, I do know Aslan. Aslan the Lion, of course. After all, I do live in Narnia up here, so of course I do see Aslan once in a while, although I think that Aslan prefers, up here in these parts at least, to go by his alter ego, and his name is Clumsy the Lion. Clumsy the Lion likes to live in trash bins, first of all. After all, he is a trash cat. And second of all, Clumsy the Lion, well, he's a little bit of a rocker, unlike Aslan, who is all dignified, and yes, look at me, I am Aslan the Lion. Clumsy the Lion's like, dude, I'm a hippie and I'm a rocker. So you've got Aslan the lion and you've got Clumsy the lion, and both of them reside up here in Narnia. Ah. Bruiser says, Tien Long, where do you think is more colder, Narnia or Skyrim? Narnia, hands down, it's Narnia. And Nostril says, someone know Austin Powers? Well, I mean, if you don't know Austin Powers, I don't know where you've been in the past 20 or 30 years since he rose to fame with things such as Goldmember and whatnot. $1 million. And all that sort of stuff. Ah. And yes, my big brother and Alex the Lion says, trash cat? Yes, Clumsy the Lion is a trash cat. You must realize that when you're in Narnia, sometimes you get into things that you shouldn't. Ask the 4 kids that came into Narnia that one time. In this case, the lions found the trash and they became trash cats. And Noostul says, Mini-Me died. Wait, Vern Proctor died? Oh, that is quite unfortunate. Vern Proctor died. Well, I am very sorry to hear that, Mr. Proctor. Thank you, Mini-Me, for your years of endless entertainment. You undoubtedly be the best micro out of all of us. Cheers to you. I hope you are Mini-Meing it up somewhere in a better place up there. And what else is happening as well for the stream? Yes, it does seem that these days we're getting a flurry of these dyes, and well, I assure you that these are not the ones that I've administrated. The ones that I do are organic 100% homegrown dyes. These ones that you see, I can't really describe them. I guess that's what you would call life. Life is something that is beyond anyone's control, even a celestial dragon. And, well, the most that we can do is celebrate it while we still have it. Celebrate life, celebrate all there is to life, life's friends, life's enemies even. All of it without every single element would not make for a fulfilled life. So that would be my piece of advice to all of you young ones out there is no matter what part of life, no matter how small or how big, celebrate it as best as you can. For you might not know how your life is made whole without each and every element that is in it. Even if it is something as small as just joining a celestial dragon on a Saturday evening as he continues to ramble and blither on and on until you get sick and tired of him, or he falls over stumbling and mumbling and spills his sake, which I definitely did not do. But for what it's worth, I do sincerely enjoy having all of you join me in these small moments. So once again to all of my friends, thank you for helping make a celestial's life that much more whole. Grande. Did that glass finish that quickly? Oh, well, goodness gracious, did I have that small of a pour? Well, I am not one to break principles and indulge myself past the point where I should. And, well, quite frankly, I do apologize, but it seems that today, for some reason, I am winded more than an old dragon usually is. Perhaps it is because I am an old dragon. Perhaps it is because I had that unfortunate spill midway through. But whatever it is, I hope that in at least some small part, I was able to make your evening better. No matter how small that moment, no matter how big it may mean to you, I hope that Celestial Dragon was able to make your evenings that much brighter and better. But, on that note, if you'll allow me, I must retire for the evening due to, again, a numerous number of things that don't necessarily seem to add up well in a celestial dragon. But at the same time, fear not, this is not the only stream that I shall have, and far be it from me to say it will be the last stream, because I do enjoy seeing each and every one of you. We shall hopefully see each other soon, and until then, may your travels take you to far away places. May you find joy wherever you may be. May you find enlightenment on your paths. So once again, I am your humble host, Tien Long. This is the Grumpy Stream, and I hope that you enjoyed it in small part and or in its entirety. Good night, and may the winds be with you.